Rock star, but I don't go to motherfucking. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Unlimited racks, bitch, how you love that? Unlimited, how you love that? Unlimited racks. Unlimited racks, bitch, how you love that? How you love that? How you love that? How you love that? Yo, what up, yo? It's your boy Sid at The Scales Will Prevail. We back at it with another video. You know the routine, you know what I mean? We on the ascendant signs, following through with the Capricorn Ascendant. This is the 10th sign. The 10th sign, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, make sure y'all like, comment below, subscribe, man, give your feedback, whether it's negative or positive. We taking it all over here, you know what I mean? Yeah, so we're gonna continue the series. So this is based on whole sign houses. So each sign will be prescribed or assigned to one house, following through in the zodiacal order. We got Capricorn in the first house, y'all can see right here, followed by Aquarius, followed by Pisces, followed by Aries on the 4th, Taurus on the 5th, Gemini on the 6th. We got Cancer on the 7th, Leo on the 8th, Virgo on the 9th, Libra on the 10th house. We got Scorpio on the 11th and Sagittarius on the 12th house. So again, I want to, we're looking at this as whole signs, even if you use another system, because I want to be able to reach more people on a broader level, you know what I mean? So this will definitely, it should resonate with you guys. Of course, nothing is going to be 100% correct. There may be some things that are off. If it doesn't resonate with you 100%, the reason being is because we're not including the planets, which will change the energy, will flavor the different houses. We're not looking at aspects to see how the planets are actually doing in terms of how they aspect it, whether that be hard or soft aspects. We're not looking at the signs that the planets are in, basically. So, you know, but this is just a general overlay of the energy, give or take. So yeah, we'll start with the Capricorn Ascendant. Capricorn Ascendant, you know, first house basically is the house of physical appearance. It's also going to be the house of yourself. It represents, I like to say it's how you act. Some astrologers will say it's your personality, but I like to say it's how you act, because it kind of corresponds with that Aries energy. Aries is actions, also ruled by Mars. But yeah, you got Capricorn here. So Capricorn is ruled by the planet Saturn, right? Capricorn is the elder energy, very mature, very methodical, very hardworking, very much about duty, responsibility. So this would be your outlook on life, right? Being that I told you some mature energy, you guys are the type that are more of a realist, you know what I mean? Could be a bit pessimistic too, because it's ruled by Saturn. Saturn is a malefic planet. But yeah, you just come off very much, you know, serious on your outlook on life, like I just stated. You're responsible and reliable. That's the energy of Capricorns, as it's coming into the house of self. So being that you're coming off in this manner, and Capricorn is also the sign that represents your status, your reputation, your career. These are things that you could be about. So you know, being that you're coming off as this type of energy, right? In your 7th house, you got your opposite sign, which is Cancer, right? Both of these are cardinal signs, but Cancer represents the mother and home. It's a very emotional and nurturing sign. So when it comes to your relationships, being that you're coming off as the hard-working one and responsible, you gotta tap over into this energy, which is basically Cancer on the 7th. You gotta be able to nurture your relationships, right? Now, for instance, if you have a stellium in the 7th house, and your stellium is 3 or more planets, basically, it's you know, it talks about an emphasis in this area of life, because it's, you know, a multitude of planets here. You could be more overly in this energy over here, to where you're nurturing your relationships and you're coming off as like the mother. So if you're doing that, then you got to get back to being responsible and reliable for yourself, basically. And then again, if you're overly being responsible and reliable for yourself, then get back to nurturing your relationships. That's how we balance out the energies, right? Let's go to Aquarius on the 2nd versus Leo on the 8th. So we'll go to your second house. Second house is your money, your values, your possessions. You can say assets. You got Aquarius here, so you value. Your values can be a bit unique and different. They could be, you could value things that are very odd to others, unusual, and that could look like a numerous amount of things. It could play out in different manners. This is why 8th house in your intimate life, you want to be recognized and seen, right? And you're with people you're intimate with, basically, because your values are a little strange. Aquarius is a strange type of energy. So it's an odd energy, but very progressive and eccentric, right? If you're overly wanting to be recognized and seen, which is Leo, Leo is the king, it's about shining, it's ruled by the sun, with those that you're intimate with, 8th house, then, you need to kind of like progress with your own values and the things that you value, because Aquarius represents progression and progressing in this area. That's how we balance out the energies. Also, one thing I want to state with Aquarius on your second house is that Aquarius is a very unconventional, unpredictable kind of energy, as it's ruled by Uranus and Saturn. But Uranus represents sudden changes. So when I see this, either Uranus here on the second house or Aquarius, which is kind of the same energy, I always say I don't really recommend gambling, because this can show for unpredictability in this area of your finances. You know what I mean? You also want to look at the signs that are in the houses are examples of energies and ways you can make money. You need to take an unconventional approach to how you make money when you have Aquarius on the second, right? Also, you may make money through your friends or groups or networks of people, acquaintances, which is all Aquarius energy, or science and technology. You can play out a lot of different ways, but these are just a few examples, right? And yeah, like I said, in your intimate life, you want to be seen and recognized. You may want it to revolve around you, because Leo is the king in this area. So make sure you're balancing out these areas. Your values, your possessions versus shared resources, and also intimate partners, whether that's sexual or non-sexual. Let's go to Pisces on the 3rd versus Virgo on the 9th. We'll start with your 3rd house in Pisces, right? So what I like to say is that you guys have Pisces. Pisces is a very sacrificial energy. So a lot of times you can be the type that sacrifices kind of like how you express yourself and your thoughts. You know what I mean? You may be less prone to giving your thoughts. Also, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, right? Neptune represents confusion, illusions. So there could be some things where you're unclear about communication, or it may be a bit harder to articulate your thoughts, right? So this is why, opposite that, in your 9th house, you got Virgo here. You need to self-improve, which is Virgo. You need to work, which is Virgo. Virgo is a sign about work and perfecting. You need to work on your beliefs, basically. If you are sacrificing how you communicate and the things you think about, work on your philosophy, your spirituality, which could help you, with expressing yourself. I like to say too, when you got Virgo in the 9th house, you can be very critical of philosophy, spirituality, things of that nature. So get back to the 3rd house. Pisces is spirituality off top. It's the sign that represents spirituality, right? So 3rd house is your learning. You need to learn about spirituality. If you're very critical and picky when it comes to spirituality, if that makes sense, or your beliefs, philosophy. You know what I mean? Virgo's more of a realistic sign, right? So you need that tangible evidence to a certain degree, right? Also, 3rd house represents your siblings as well. Your aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors. So, this could show forth for you being very giving in this area too, as well, with these individuals, very sacrificial. You just got to make sure that you're not overly giving, because a lot of times what Pisces is where you can overgive, and be prone to deception as well too, as it's ruled by Neptune. Neptune, again, I told you, is kind of like deceit at times and illusions, fantasies. Aries on the 4th versus Libra on the 10th. So with Aries on the 4th, this talks about your upbringing, your home. Talks about your mother too. Your mother would have been someone who was very independent, very much of a go-getter. You know, she could have been a bit selfish at times, doing her own thing. Aries is also like a warrior type of energy, so it could show warfare going on in your upbringing. May move a bit more independent with family because there could have been some conflicts here. But you always want to check out how Mars is aspected as well too, just to, you know, clarify that a little more. But it could show forth for having like warfare in your home and you moving again independently amongst family and things of that nature, right? So if your upbringing, which is the 4th house, was a bit if it was conflict here, this could show forth for why 10th house in the world, in your public reputation, public recognition and reputation, and your career could show forth for you being like the diplomat in this area and wanting peace in this area and justice in the world because how you grew up basically, right? 10th house is your career as well too, so it could play out that way. Also, Libra is a sign of, besides justice, it's the sign of beauty. So some people with this placement will be in the beauty industry. They'll be in the fashion. Any form of arts can show up with Libra in the 10th house. Negotiations, things of that nature, contracts, right? Now, what I want to say, if you're being overly fair and overly fair in your career and how you're seen in the public, right, you still got to get back to because you basically want to balance out this area. That's what it's saying, right? You want to be in harmony with your career, so then you need to be a bit more of like the leader in your home basically. If you're focused on Libra's a relationship, so if you're focused on your relationship towards your career, towards the public world, you need to get back to being Aries is the head, right? It's a leader, so you need to get back to being the head and leader of your family and home. That's how you balance out the energies basically when you're, depending on what polarity you're in more, you know what I mean? I told you guys that stelliums would change the energy. You know, different things going on south node, north node can change things in terms of where you're at. Just as an example, you know what I mean? In any of these houses. So let's go to Taurus 5th house versus Scorpio 11th house. I'll start with Scorpio on the 11th. Scorpio, I like to say, is where you attract fuckery in your chart a lot of times. Coming into the house with your friends, right? Groups of people, networks. So a lot of times you're going to move more privately and more secretive because Scorpio is a very secretive sign when it comes to your friends, right? You may feel you have to protect yourself as well amongst friends because Scorpio is also a protective energy, right? So when you're feeling like that, right, if you're going through, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto and Mars, but Pluto can represent power struggles. So if you're feeling that energy around friends and you're feeling like you have to be more secretive, right, make sure you're 5th house, make sure you're you got Taurus here, make sure you're kind of comfortable with yourself and being more stable with yourself and solid basically and secure, which is all Taurus energy. It's coming to the 5th house of self-expression. That is the house of Leo and the sun. So besides just looking at your sun sign, I like to look at the 5th house as another example of how you express your sun to a certain degree. So it's the self-expression, kind of like your identity, personality to a certain degree too. Compare this basically with your sun sign when you're looking at your charts. But yeah, make sure you're stable and solid with yourself because again, in your 11th house with friends, it could be just some fuckery that you attract, right? If you're comfortable with like kind of being like stable and secure with yourself, then it's just saying that your friends are supposed to help you with evolving on the positive side of this Scorpio energy, depending on how your ruling planets, Mars and Pluto, are aspected, right? But Scorpio represents evolution, so you need to evolve in this area around friends, groups of people, basically, right? 5th house is also fun and pleasure, and Taurus is a sign that represents stability, security, money, finance. So for you, it's about getting to that money, you know what I mean? It's about getting to that money. That's what you could be doing for fun, basically. This house also represents dating, so you could take a slow approach as Taurus is slow to move. In your dating life, you may move a bit more slower, and you like it to be consistent and solid. Let's go to Gemini on the 6th versus Sagittarius on the 12th. I'll go to your 12th house first. 12th house is what you do in private, behind the scenes. It's also the subconscious mind. You got Sagittarius here. You could be doing a lot of growth and expansion. You could be studying a lot, learning a lot behind the scenes. So this is why in your 6th house, right, even for your work, you may be into communications, fields of communications. Gemini represents a lot of different things. I'm not going to go into everything that it deals with, but it just can show that for if you know a lot, because Sagittarius is a teacher energy, and this is again what you're doing behind the scenes and then you're ingrained in your subconscious mind, then you may be very expressive, right, in your work and also amongst coworkers. Also, this is your daily routines, 6th house. Gemini can be a sign of either communication going on within your work or around coworkers. Sometimes it may be gossipy depending on how Mercury is aspected, the ruling planet of Gemini. But it can show forth for being very mobile too on the go, because Gemini is a very mobile energy. It's very spontaneous, wants to keep moving as well. So that's just something to think about. It can show forth for a fickle type of energy amongst coworkers, even though communication can be prevalent in this area. And Gemini represents change, so it can show forth for you doing change and variety. So it can represent for a variety of different things that you do in your work and in your daily routines. It's the twin, so duality, more than one thing that you could be doing in your work, right? But again, make sure you're in this 12th house energy too of continuing to educate yourself, continuing to learn, maybe traveling, so you can share that with those that you're at home, that you're around basically, or in your work. Also, last thing I want to say is that Sagittarius, again, is coming into the 12th house, which represents the subconscious mind. Now, whatever's in this 12th house in terms of planets and signs is what we suppress. Sagittarius is a very happy-go-lucky energy, very optimistic, right? But you suppress this side to you, even though this is ingrained in your subconscious mind. And again, you come off the mask you wear, which is the 1st house. I didn't say that earlier, and how you act. Yourself basically is a Capricornic, and Capricornic is more kind of pessimistic in terms of, but realistic in terms of, you know, how you see things. You may come off as more serious. Capricorn is a more serious energy too, and again, you suppress that happy-go-lucky, positive, optimistic, outgoing energy. So this is just a brief synopsis on the Capricorn Ascendant. I hope it was enlightening. Make sure y'all stay tuned. We got more videos coming soon. Holla at your boy. Again, like and comment below your thoughts. Make sure you subscribe, you know what I mean? Help your boy out, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna keep coming with the content. Alright, y'all, peace.